Hi, everybody.
Hello, hello. Welcome to episode number 32 of the VoiceIt show, ladies and gentlemen. It feels so good to see you all. And look, everybody's already there in the chat. Welcome, guys. And it's another week, another fun week. And today we say goodbye to March and we welcome April. So happy April, new month to everyone. And we are so excited today. We have an amazing, phenomenal guest with us. But before we begin, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. You will see a subscribe button somewhere in the right bottom. And thank you guys once again for tuning in. And Funky,
Yeah, a special shout out goes to our patrons.
Shelly O'Neill, Adam Gorak, Chris Vickery, Andrews Lindholm. Thank you guys for supporting the show always. It really means so much to us.
Yes, thank you guys. So, today we have with us an insanely talented artist who is described as one of the best electric guitarists on the planet currently. And we say, hell yeah! We're talking about Philip Sayce, who began his music career earlier in his teens. And from then on, his journey knew no bounds. He has spent years touring and recording with legends like Jeff Healey, Melissa Etheridge, Uncle Cracker, and has played numerous shows with many great artists, including ZZ Top and many others.
Mr. Sayes has had the distinct honor of performing at 2007 Academy Awards, the 2005 Grammy Awards, Live Earth 2007. He has also performed at Eric Clapton's Crossroads Guitar Festival in 2013 at Madison Square in New York, which was highlighted among the top performances by Premier Guitar. And all of this awesomeness eventually got the attention of Warner Music Canada, and Philip signed with them and released his album called Influence. Now, Philip has 8 albums to his name, including the newly released album named Spirit Rising.
Yes, and also Philip is not only a killer guitarist, but also he's an exceptional singer. Philip's guitar playing, his style, his love for blues, SRV, Jimi Hendrix, and the music of his own speak a single tone, and that is passion. It's an honor to have such an inspiring persona with us today. So please welcome Mr. Philip Sayce.
Woo!
Welcome.
Wow, thank you so much. What an incredible introduction. I feel all tingly. Thank you both so much.
Thank you so much for coming on the Voice It Show, and we welcome you. Thank you so much for giving us your time today.
Oh, and in return, thank you both very much for having me on the Voice It show today. I really appreciate it.
It's an
Thank
honor.
you. Yes, how is it going where you are? And that beginning video, by the way, you are killing it on guitar, and that's how we begin April. Bang on.
Well, I think that's what we got to do right now, right? We just every day we got to get up and hit it bang on right now, and I think every day is a gift. Every moment is a gift, and these are certainly trying times for all of us, regardless of
True.
whatever country we're in individually, and it's so complex. So yeah, I'm just trying to do the best I can each and every day.
So cool.
Awesome.
That's really awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And to start, I want to take you to the very, very beginning and ask you about your childhood. So, what are your fondest memories from your childhood, and were you in a musical family?
Yeah, thank you for asking. My parents were always really supportive of the arts at home. They enrolled me into music courses when I was really little, like 3 years old or something. And then my brother, who's a couple of years younger as well, same thing. He was immersed into music as well, and we studied piano for a long time. I ended up playing some brass trombone for about 10 years through school, and then finally had the courage and nerve to ask for a guitar. And so my parents again were supportive, and got me a guitar, and were
Wow.
always behind me.
That's awesome.
That's
And
really
yeah, so we know that, you just said you play the guitar, obviously, but as you said, you also play the piano, trombone, and even the drums. So can you still play those instruments, and do you own any?
I really have focused my time, since piano for me, I loved it, but it wasn't something that pulled me out of bed in the middle of the night to want to go play it. It was fantastic for learning, for tuning the ear, for understanding about reading music, for understanding all kinds of different concepts. And so I was really studying classical piano for a number of years, and I loved it, but the guitar was always pulling at me. The same with the trombone. It was fun, but the guitar was where I wanted to get, and
Mm-hmm.
then as well singing, working on those. So they've really taken up my my focus. And I think if I'm interested in drums, then I'm going to call somebody that's really a drummer. I'm
Yeah.
not. I mean, now you can just sort of bang something and then go in and fix it all. But I would rather play with somebody that you know that's what they do and they put their heart and soul into.
true. That is true. And not only, well, even though you're known prominently as a guitarist, but you are a badass vocalist as well. And your vocals sing, those are really awesome. So yeah, there
Thank you
you
so
go.
much.
And I want to talk about Spirit Rising, the album. According to us, it is a 360-degree view of your musical and vocal brilliance, and by now it has crossed 6 million plus streams on Spotify, which is humongous. And congratulations to you, first of all, on that. And it's really, really awesome. And folks who are watching or listening right now, it is a must listen to album. You should go out and get it, first of all. And would you like to share with us the motivation behind this album and the process of its making and whatnot?
Thank you so much, and I again I appreciate that very warm introduction for the new music. That means a lot to me. So thank you. I the main point of this is that it's really a snapshot of what was going on in my life at that time, and each of the
Hmm.
songs were specifically selected to fit into this collection of an album, right? So a number of songs, and each one sort of has its own reason for being there. And in order to, in a sense, to try to balance the album out, so not have four songs that maybe have the same sort of tempo and have the same feel. I think really making a choice to have one song that covers this groove, one song that covers this feeling, one song, so that you
True.
don't have a bunch of the same kind of thing happening, which
Yes.
sometimes is hard to do. It's like if you like chocolate, sometimes you're going to have more than one bit of chocolate. You're going to keep going, but I think in order to keep it balanced, you just want to have you want to have it. You want to have a good balance. Ultimately, is what I'm trying to say, and that was the intention. I think the album's dedicated to my dad, who sadly passed away quite suddenly during the making of the
Yeah.
album, and it really shifted something in my life. And it was an
Yeah.
opportunity to really sort of stop things and just like really get in touch with what's important to me, what kinds of
Hmm.
people I want to welcome into my life that I can collaborate with, that are thoughtful, competent, um,
Right.
straightforward partners. And whether that be friendships, whether that be business relationships, it just really put my entire life into a new perspective and allowed me to really find myself in a new way. So the album is deeply personal, and
Oh yeah.
the music that's coming now that I've been writing and have written is directly connected to that. It's just the evolution from Spirit Rising. And so yeah,
Right.
I think really about very personal and dedicated to my dad.
That's beautiful.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And yes,
Yeah.
it comes from the heart and it reaches to audience hearts. So that's how the album is. And there is so much variety in a single album, tone wise, vocals wise, and it's really brilliant. You cannot just say it's blues or it's rock. There's variety in it, and it's definitely awesome. I want to ask, which of the songs from the album do you like playing or singing the most from the same album?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's so interesting because, so the album came out less than a year ago. So it's
Yeah.
come out during the pandemic. And so there hasn't really been an opportunity to perform the songs. I mean, other than me here playing for my cats and my wife or something, but it's like, I'm just, it's not like going out and performing and in the same kind of way. So, but certainly some of the songs were performed live in the studio, and we had played some of them live as well prior to the pandemic. Maybe something like, if I was going to say something in this moment, maybe the song 555 is really special. That's dedicated.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
so
that's my
sweet.
favorite.
So kind. Thank you. That one from it's sort of it's a prayer, really. It's a prayer sent out to certainly to my dad and another family member that we lost not that long ago. And so it's really a prayer of connection and gratitude and
Right.
and love.
True.
I love that song.
And
Thank you.
And just a moment, Funky, before you move on with your question, I just want to say, we hold you and everyone of your family members in love and wrap you in love. And whoever your dad and other family member has moved on to a new frequency, a lot of love and respect to them as well.
That's very beautiful. Thank you so much. And to you and your loved ones as well. To you both
Thank
and your
you so
loved
much.
ones. Yes.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
Thank you.
So,
Go ahead, Funky.
yeah, so we'd be happy if you could share some funny, scary moments from tours or off stage, or just, some things that have happened to you that you'll never be able to forget.
Well, let's see. This is a family show, right? So I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So
It's all right.
I'm kidding, but I mean, there's a number of things, right? I think in any, I mean, I've got to ask you two the same as well. Maybe I should. I'll share, and then I'd love to hear from you both. What's like the weirdest thing that you've had while doing the VoiceIt show? So what I would say is, I mean, there's a bunch of weird things and happy things and not so happy things, and I just shared something on Instagram the other day. I was going through my phone, and this picture popped up, and it was pretty funny. It was a picture of. So when we arrived in London in England, we'd driven in and we went to this area of London. It's called Croydon. And, I mean, I've heard of Croydon and, been there, but we got to this hotel, and in the parking lot, I couldn't even call it a hotel, but they were burning mattresses that were in the hotel that had been spoiled in some way, let's just say. And so we pulled up, and there was like black smoke everywhere. We're like, what's going on? This is our hotel. And, so anyway, I had this picture in the parking lot of like, welcome to London. And and then the next time we were in London, it was sort of like this thing. It's like the people we were working with seemed to really be wanting to put us in the most unsafe, ridiculous places you could think of. And so the next time we were in London, we stayed at this other hotel, and we pulled in, and it was really bad. And I remember getting into the bed, and I remember, it was like, oh, this place sucks, but okay, and got into bed. And about 20 minutes later, I'm like, it's so itchy. And I'm like, I got up. I'm like, what is going on in here? This is nasty. And I pulled the sheet back, and there were bugs all over the bed. And I was like, oh no, I gotta go. Because when you're on the road, if they get in your bag and they get, you don't want that. So it's like, oh no. So I got out of the room. It was, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning. There was nothing in the area in London to go. So I was just walking around the streets with my suitcase at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, I went back to the hotel. I'm sitting in the lobby, and Joel Gottschalk, who was playing with me at the time, he was playing bass, and he came down, and he was furious. Like, he was on fire. And I was like, what's wrong? And he was like, "There's blood in my room. There is blood in my room." Like it was like all over his room. So it was like, so I don't know why that pops into my head, but it's like when you think about people that you want to work with, and you think about the people that say, yeah, you should go work with these people. They're really good. And then your experiences are, they start there and go way, they go downhill from there. It's time to make some new friends and check. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's a pretty light story.
This is not what I expected.
This is not really what we signed up for, and there's way worse stories, but you got to kind of laugh, right? It's like it's a privilege to make music. I would never think otherwise. Music is a privilege, and I'm grateful for that. And I also, don't want to, those kinds of experiences aren't acceptable, really. So it's kind of funny. So how about you both? What's a weird experience while doing the VoiceIt show?
Yeah, well, when someone asks me such a question, and gets me on the spot, nothing is in my head. So I have no idea what.
Yeah, I got two things. Funky, I guess you could tell the Fifi LaRue and Nadine LaRue story. And I have a Buck Johnson story. So, I'll go first with Buck Johnson story. So we were interviewing Buck Johnson from Aerosmith, Hollywood Vampires. And he came on, so, we were backstage. The live stream wasn't yet on. So we were just here introducing ourselves to him. And he had just come on 5 minutes still for the live stream to begin. So I say, "Hey Buck, how are you? All good?" He's like, "Yeah, man, all fine, all nice." So what's up, Buck? How's it going? And he says, "How's life going?" I say, and he's like, "Man, life is really good, and you know what you should do. This is life, and this is how it goes, and whatnot, and you should always try and feel motivated and keep on going and whatnot." And I said, "Okay, that's really profound. Thank you, Buck." And I said, "You realize we are not live yet, right?" Oh
no!
Oh heck! So I have to repeat that once again.
Yeah.
I think probably, you don't know.
Yeah.
So you thought we were live.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that thing happened, and gosh.
He was ready to go. He was like, "All right, let's."
He just came on. He popped on screen, and we were like, "Hey, Buck, how are you? What's up? I'm Kanak. She's Funky." And like, "So how's it going? How's 2020? How's life, man?" He was like, and he was into it.
Hey, he's a pro. He's a pro. He showed up ready to go. One take wonder. He's just like, "Okay, let's do it." That's cool.
Yeah.
Actually, man, it was so fun. Gosh. So yeah, and the other thing about Fifi LaRue, or I was saying, another great musician and multi-talented, multifaceted personality. So we had him on, and so we were doing the sound check, and we were setting up the studio, and his wife was doing his setup at the moment for him, and we told him that it would be good if you check in like 10 minutes early. Now, Funky and we generally check in like 2 hours before the show. So his wife checked in an hour earlier, and we had some things to discuss, which we couldn't because she popped up. And we were like, "Now what the heck do we do?" And we literally logged off. And and we are discussing on Instagram, are we gonna kick her out of the studio or what are we gonna do?
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
And at one point we were brave enough. We were like, "Okay, let's do it," and we kicked her out of the studio.
But it all worked out.
Yes, it did. But the funny thing is that there was like one moment where we said hi to her. We were both on camera, and we said, "Hi, how are you?" And she was just, like looking at us not saying anything, and it felt really
And then
awkward.
she
But then we
and then
realized that yeah, she just left the room, and like we were just
she
looking at
left
their room. The thing
she
is,
left and she said, they're here.
yeah, yeah, and the reason why she didn't reply to our question is because she didn't hear us for some reason. But we worked that out later. So yeah.
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 Some of those technical issues.
Oh,
How
Mhm.
many
true.
calls? How many calls in this last year, Zoom calls or whatever, have started with, "I can't hear you. Unmute your microphone. I can't." It's like every single call, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a lot.
truly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, things have become virtual. So yeah, cool. So please tell us, how many hours do you practice daily, or do you practice now, or are you into just playing nowadays?
Oh yeah. I got to play every opportunity that I have, and it's something that I enjoy. It's something that is therapeutic. It's something that's part of my daily constitution. It's as important as eating. It's as important as sleeping for me. So it's something that I'll try to play a
Hmm.
few hours a day at least. I think that there's a
Right.
certain balance between sort of playing and staying in shape and trying new things and writing new songs and practicing singing and, excuse me, all of the above. but
Right.
but uh, but it's important for me to, it's something I wake up and I want to do right away. And yeah, so
Right.
it's something that every day I want to work. If I'm feeling sore or tired, sometimes you take a day or two. Just like I try to
Right.
approach it like some of my favorite athletes. They train every day, whether there's a track
True.
meet or a game or not. They're staying in shape. In the off season, they're training. And so it's a lifelong commitment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know why? Because I wanted to go deeper into your practice routine. And when you were younger, how many hours would you practice? And would you like to break down your practice routine? Like you would do scales, or would you like dedicate hours in a day, or maybe days for scales or whatnot, exercises? How would it go?
Yeah, my practice routine is from day one till now is pretty much the same. I'm just trying to always dig in on
Mhm.
things and look at things and how can I make this better. If I record
Okay.
something and listen back to it, there's a fine line, I think, between being sort of hypercritical of what I'm looking at, but also being accepting of, and I want to have, my intention is to really have things lined up. So what's happening personally and emotionally and energetically, my intention is
Right.
to have that lined up with the expression and with the music, with the singing, with the playing. And so if I'm able to work on myself as a person, um,
Right.
again, spiritually, energetically, mentally, um, my hope and my intention and what I'm feeling and seeing is that reflects in the music. So it's not
Right.
necessarily only just about the mechanical part of playing where you're just sort of like scales. Like that was the thing that, you're just doing something over and over again, which, yeah, creates dexterity, it's almost like math, right? It's like, wow,
True.
that's cool. But that wasn't the thing that really always brought me to the instrument. It wasn't the technical part of it is something certainly that turned me on. And it wasn't scales. It wasn't, I played scales for piano for years, and that was what was kind of turned me off about playing it, right? It was like, I just want to like, go crazy. I want to play with my foot on the piano, right? I want to like, but that's not what it was. And so I think with the guitar, it really allowed me to approach it from a place, having a background of musical training, but then to approach it in a
Right.
free way, and certainly learning from all of the musicians that I look up to and still study each and every day. Because every time you hear Albert Collins or Stevie Ray or Jeff Healey or any of these great players, you realize that they were lifelong players. They were extraordinarily deep, and these are the
Oh
people
yeah.
that continue to turn me on every day. So yes, to get back to it,
Absolutely.
scales. I'm not really a scale guy. I'm not really. I'll try to
True.
throw little bits of it in there, but in terms of like just a basic scale thing, that doesn't call me
Yeah,
to the
not
instrument.
specifically scales, but whatever exercise. Yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah, and so I mean, in terms of string bending or vibrato or trying to
right,
some phrasing and really trying to get into get in touch with where I'm at on a particular day, and I think that's really the practice is always working on the technical aspects, but trying to get deeper
right,
in that, trying to get inside what
right.
it means to me.
That is absolutely fantastic. And do you practice meditation and spirituality?
Yes, yeah. Meditation has been something that I've introduced into my life over the last, I don't know, 5+ years or so, and
Mm-hmm,
I try to find time to meditate regularly, and I think especially during this year, where
mm-hmm.
over this last year, meditation has been an incredible ally, incredible
Right,
an incredible tool.
That's
right.
awesome. Yeah. And
Good.
so
Good.
your live performances are amazing. So what goes on in your mind just before you get on stage? Like, what is your final thought before you step on stage?
Just that. Thank you for asking. I think just that I can be as that I can be open and get out of my head and into my heart, really,
Mm-hmm.
and to really
Mm,
try to be as open as I possibly can to receive guidance while playing, to play better than I've ever played before, and to make the very most of the day and that moment and opportunity. So it's really trying to find the opportunity and the space to be 100% myself and real in the moment.
That's
right.
amazing. Thank you for
And
answering. And
I know.
Kanak?
I thought you were asking. Okay.
No.
So yeah, cool. Uh, I wanted to ask you your uh, hello, Funky. Yeah.
We're
Okay.
here.
Cool. So yeah, I can hear you. Wait. So I wanted to ask you. You play Fender Strat, Mother, as we know, and have you ever had a problem with the intonation of the guitar because Fender Stratocaster, and have you ever had to deal with intonation problems with it?
That's a great question, my friend. The answer is yes, every day. It's always a little bit out
Right.
of tune, which is that's my thing, I guess. No, it's not that bad. It's just yeah, occasionally it
Uh-huh.
can be a little funky, so you just got to bend the string a little more or whatever, till it's closer to in tune.
Okay.
Cool. So, and how do you deal with it as into, keep it in tune or whatever, adjusting it? Is it your daily thing?
Yeah, I mean, there's a constant, sort of upkeep and adjustments, and um, you know, uh, pretty much on a daily basis. I think with the instruments, I
Hmm.
think it's
Hmm.
it's it's like anything. Sometimes I feel like with these pedals and like a fuzz face pedal or something, uh, they sound different to me every day. Sometimes that doesn't sound like it did
Right.
yesterday, and that could be for a number of reasons. Maybe
Right.
there's more people using air conditioning in the neighborhood that day, so the power is a little different. And you notice it too. Sometimes you go
True.
from place to place, and the power is different, and the things are reacting differently, and maybe you're at altitude, so the guitar, just so you're constantly adjusting. And I
Oh
think,
yeah.
but at the same time,
Yeah.
maybe trying to have a bit of fun with it. Like wow, this is cool. This
Absolutely.
is yeah. So constantly adjusting and also trying to find the area of a certain comfort zone. So
Oh
both are
yeah.
true.
Uh, Absolutely. And we would love to know about these beauties. Obviously, the
Oh
mother,
yeah.
but can you tell us about them, please?
Yeah, awesome. Hey, thanks for pulling up these photos. Yeah, I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Yeah, so the two Stratocasters are from 1963,
Uh-huh.
and the guitar, the acoustic guitar that's there is a resonator guitar, and I've recently started working with collaborating with a company called Mule. Yes, who actually made this amazing guitar here that you've pictured, and
Wow.
they're out of
Mm-hmm.
Michigan in the U.S. and they just make some of the
Wow.
most just really beautiful guitars, and I really also appreciate just the kind of the ethic, the vibe, the whole just their whole scene there at Mule Guitars. They're making some outstanding instruments, and they're great people.
That's
True.
awesome.
So cool. And not only that, your signature pickups are out now. Are they out yet? I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're absolutely right, and thank you so much for doing this. Sharing all this information is great. And so, yeah, I collaborated with my friend Joel Wilkins here in the U.S.,
Uh-huh.
and we, over a long period of almost a year, really, there was a period where we were sort of trying to get it together and how we're going to do it. And so we released a very small number of pickups. And I
Wow.
was excited that they sold out in about less like a minute. It was crazy. It was wild. And so,
Oh, yeah.
and Joel is very meticulous with his work, and but each one built one at a time. And so I have some of those pickups in my own guitars as well. And so I don't know if we're going to
Oh, yeah.
do, we sold those, and that was that. So maybe we'll have a couple more sets left over, but I don't think we'll do too many more of
Right.
those ones.
Gosh. So limited edition, probably.
Yeah, yeah, but it was a great experience, and Joel and I are now good friends, and it was a fun
Right.
experience to collaborate with him. He's a really talented, super talented
I, s-
luthier.
I saw a couple of pictures. You guys, I guess I'm working on them and maybe from the mill and, wounding those whatever pickups and coils on the pickups. So that was really great too, in the
Thank you.
making kind of pictures. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's
a
Joel
single
who.
coil pickups really great.
Yeah, Joel is doing that work for sure.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like I'm holding them and playing them or whatever. But Joel, he's doing all the hard work. He's making them. So, he's been studying these instruments and pickups for years. He's one of the finest, I would say, on the
Cool.
planet.
Oh, that's amazing. And
Wow.
yeah, you don't have to,
That's all.
you don't have to
Yeah.
thank us because it's our honor. It's something that we love to do. We
Exactly.
love sharing, the information. We love to promote. Like if you have any, if you're working on any new music or an album that's coming out, like we would love to promote whatever you have. So
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. So
Yeah, we are always there to support.
yeah, and before I continue with my questions, we have some questions from the audience. And the first question is from Anders Lindholm, and he's asking, is there any piece of gear that or instrument that you have lost or had stolen that you wish you had now?
Mhm. Yeah, thanks, Anders. That's a really cool question. And one of the first things that comes to mind, I had a parts Stratocaster that I put together years ago off of bits from eBay. It was like a 1963
Wow.
Stratocaster body with a 1960 neck, some 63 pickup. It was all the parts, and the guitar was just so comfortable to play. I mean, it was awesome, and I ended up
Mm.
I ended up selling it, and so I could purchase another guitar. And yeah, but I think about that one a lot. It was red. It was refinished in a red, and it was a super cool parts guitar. And I had some
Mhm.
friends help me, put it together and do repairs on it and all this stuff. It was a lot of fun. And so, yeah, sometimes you sell them and then you look back, oh, maybe I should have kept that one. So yeah.
Right.
So thanks for asking, Anders.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I sold my guitar recently, and there are times where I'm like, I miss that guitar, but
Yeah.
I plan on moving on to bass, so it's for a good cause.
So that's great. What kind of bass are you looking at getting?
Well, electric bass. I'm
Do you
not,
know?
I'm not sure yet, which one
Yeah,
exactly, but electric.
that's going to be fun. That's super
Yeah,
cool.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, have fun with it. Yeah.
Thank you. And okay, so my question is, what is the best advice you have ever received from another artist?
Yeah, great question. It's a similar advice that I received from two mentors in my life who I really look up to, um, and this is with Jeff Healey and also with Melissa Etheridge. And what they both shared with me, and what they both displayed as well. Not just talking, but also in the way that they. So not just sort of saying you need to do this, you need to do that, but leading by example. And what
Right.
that is that they said, embrace who you are and be that 100%. There's going to be all kinds of people that are going to tell you you got to change what you do. You don't need to change a thing. Just be who you are and speak your truth, and you are enough. And I think that those are the people that I look to for guidance. Not necessarily the folks who are telling you about, oh, I just bought this and I just bought that and I'm the best, and like, that's cool. You're the best for you. It's a big world, and so a lot of times these weren't necessarily the folks that were coming in and sucking all the energy out of the room by talking, right? They would come into a room and actually provide energy to the room, right? They were
Right.
tuned in a
Yes.
way. And so that's what, I mean, within reason. I hope I'm being clear on what I'm saying, but I think that
Yes.
ultimately that guidance to, man, I really like who you are and what you're doing. I hope you like yourself too, man. I hope you really celebrate who you are and be that to the fullest, and that's really the
Right.
most amazing advice that I received from two monumental artists and people I admire.
That's some amazing
Absolutely.
advice. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you have mentioned, the energy in the room and everything. So, how would you go about energizing a tired audience if you ever had one?
Yeah, that's, I mean, it's a really tricky, it's a tricky question, because I think it depends on the audience. It depends on so many different factors. And I think honestly, by being 100% just where I am in that moment, truthful about the message that I'm trying to get across through the music, it's not up to me how it resonates or doesn't resonate. As long as I'm being 100%
Mhm.
truthful to what is in my heart and coming out of my soul, that's the most important thing. And I mean, we all like to get
Right.
like positive feedback and reinforcement and all that kind of stuff. Of course, that's a lot nicer than somebody saying like, I can't stand it, like, I can't stand what you're doing, which is a nice way, now in this kind of internet world where people live in their mom's basements eating Cheetos and sitting in their underwear and saying, you suck. It's kind of like, that's not helpful in any way. Like, if you want to help someone, then,
Exactly.
what's the positive feedback? What's the constructive feedback? And so I think, otherwise I don't really have time for it,
Mm-hmm.
because, and I think, again, just to
Truly
touch back on
important.
someone
Yeah.
like Jeff Healey, and I was very young when I first started with him, and just, but I think, to get back to what you're saying about how to connect with an audience, he would walk on a stage
Mm.
and kind of play, like, just to make sure his guitar was on, and he would play a run. Whole place would go like totally quiet. It was like, what is happening? And he was able to connect with that
Right.
audience immediately. The same with Melissa. She would walk out and that entire audience was in the palm of her hand, and she was channeling something very energetic and very powerful. And so, that's my intention, is to reach into that place and to share it through my own lens and perspective and through my own spirit.
Those are some wise words. Thank you for answering. Yeah.
Thank you.
Kanak?
Yeah, and this is one of the honorary moments.
Hmm. That was a fun. That was a fun night. That's for sure. Melissa really, really rocked it and wrote an incredible song. And as part of that, she was so kind to invite her band, myself included, to record the song with her in the studio, and she also invited us to come to the Oscars with her. And when she won, like, we flipped out. It was amazing, and it was a really, really special experience. And like the one of the
True,
most fun moments was, backstage. It was like you were at a wax museum. It was like you were at Madame Tussauds or
exactly.
something. It was like, no, that's Eddie Murphy. No, that's Steven Spielberg. No, that's Leonardo DiCaprio. Holy shit! Like, oh, sorry, but it was like it was really wild. Like, it was like
It's all right.
it was such a weird,
Right.
it was such a weird, yeah, it was such a surreal and fun moment.
I bet.
We can see the excitement is still alive.
Yeah, it was cool. It was fun. You know what? Hey, and I get to play my guitar. This is cool. I'm into it. So
Awesome, awesome. And not only that, tell us about hanging out with these cool dudes. For
yeah, that
people,
would.
yeah, from right, that's Joe Bonamassa. Then there's Tyler Bryant. Then there's John Mayer, and then there's our guest Philip Sayce.
Yeah, it was a fun night. That was at the Sunset Marquee, and I think there were just a bunch of people there that night, and those were some of the fine gentlemen there, and certainly have a lot of respect for those
Oh yeah,
artists, and each of them in their own way, and so it was a lot of fun to connect with them, and that was
absolutely.
interesting. Everyone was really nice. John Mayer was super cool. Tyler is always super cool, and Joe as well. So it was a fun night.
Absolutely. So
That's
cool.
awesome.
So I want to ask, um, how do you find strength and motivation in challenging times? How do you
Yeah,
lift yourself up?
yeah. It's such an amazing, such a great question. And my I think it's multifaceted. I don't know if it's any one thing. I think, again, remaining true to who I am is something that's very important to me right now, and doing a lot of personal work around that, and finding, just really getting as real with myself as I can be around particular relationships, and people that have been involved in my life in some way, and really deciphering the difference between what and who is a positive influence, and what and who isn't, and having the
Right.
courage to kind of identify those things, and by cleaning up some of those areas, I think there's an opportunity for more buoyancy and more lift in general. Certainly the playing and songwriting, I've written at least another full record, and so I think it's just about trying to stay creative, and with no touring right now, it is challenging. I see a lot of people that are getting out and playing live
Mm-hmm.
anyways, and you know, um, I think we all just have to do what we feel is the right thing at this time. And I don't want to judge anybody else, but I think for me, it's really important that
Sure.
to be careful, certainly with um, myself, my friends and family, but also with friends and fans, and family that come to shows. Um, I would feel
Sure.
awful to find out that people came to a show, got sick, and had to deal with something for an extended period of time. That's kind of how I'm feeling about it. Like, it doesn't. It's so we
Right.
can connect in this way for now. I also have the opportunity to update my thinking at any time, um, and it's just,
Sure.
I think, remaining grateful for so much. I mean, it's really easy to look at things that are upside down in the
Right.
world, but there's a lot to be thankful for. I'm thankful for this conversation that we're having right now. I'm thankful that we have internet. Can you imagine if we didn't have, like, if it was like the 90s and we didn't have
Well,
any of this? Like, it'd
Yeah.
be crazy. So,
true.
there's much to be grateful for, and I think focusing on that gratitude, focusing on creativity, and pushing myself in a number of different ways, as well as yeah, I think just treating it one day at a time. Just being here for
Absolutely.
today, right now.
That's profound. Yeah, truly. And we hope you'll get to get out very soon, and live shows, and when it's safe for everyone, you'll get to get out on the stage once again and live that moment on stage, and even everyone gets to attend the live shows and live that spirit once again. So,
I
so,
welcome that. I hope, I look
yeah,
forward to it. I look forward to it.
true.
Um, but as of today, I understand that, the city that I grew up
Yeah.
in, Toronto, is, Ontario, the province of Ontario is about to close down for the next month. It's happening,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
so it's yeah, all around the world, it's still happening. I think we got to work through it, and it's so
Absolutely.
frustrating, and yeah.
Yeah. We're in this together, so
Well, we
we'll
Yeah.
have to
make
be.
through it.
I mean, I
Yes.
think, I fully agree with you. I don't know if everybody's approaching it in that way, but I think there are a lot of people that are like,
True.
me first, my turn. There's a whole movement here called My Turn, but we'll talk about that another
Oh
time.
yeah.
But
Sure.
I think I agree with you. It is very much a global community in this way, and
Sure.
so yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
And we
Absolutely.
also we also have some other questions from the audience as well. So
Yes.
the second question is from Fox and Fritter. She's asking, "What is the first rock concert you have ever attended?"
All right, that's a great question. I appreciate it. So it was Eric Clapton in Toronto. My mom and dad took me to see
Wow.
him, and Mark Knopfler was his second guitarist for this show, and he was one of the greats of all time
Legends.
as well. And Buckwheat Zydeco opened the show, so I remember it really well. It was the first time at a concert. There was 15,000 people, and it was Eric Clapton. I mean, it was life changing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's amazing. And we have another question from the audience, who is also from Anderson. He's asking, "Do you have any pets?"
Yeah, Anders, yes, great question. Yeah, definitely an animal lover. Big time. Oh, that's my sweet kitty. Yeah, she passed away not long ago, and she was the matriarch. But we do. Yeah, I would
Oh,
have a couple cats. Love them.
And there's also another picture.
nice.
Can you tell us about bees?
Oh yeah, that's a
Did
funny
you ever
story.
find?
We found them. They were
Did you
they were
find them
running down
ever
this.
again?
Oh yeah. Well, what happened was they were running down the street by themselves. Somebody had released them just in the neighborhood, and so they were two dogs that were stray. And so I was talking to my wife, and she's a major action person and animal lover, and jumped into action. And so we had the dogs for a bit, and we fostered them, I guess you would say, and found a home for them. So somebody who lives, I think they live right on the beach. Took the dogs. So hopefully they're having fun as we speak in the by the ocean.
Yeah, let's hope. So another question of
True.
mine is, who would you like to collaborate with but you haven't yet?
Oh yeah, it's an awesome question. I think there's a lot of artists that I really like, and for me, one of the key things is that when I hear an artist that is super connected emotionally, spiritually powerful in that way, it's something that I feel very pulled toward. And so it'd certainly be an artist that I feel inspired by. Um, and of course, someone like Stevie Wonder comes to mind, right? That would be awesome. Is that a cat there? I
Mm.
see a tail like going by. Oh yeah. Hello.
This
So
is
cute.
PT, and I wanted to show her since she kind of reminded me of your cat. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Oh, so
there she goes.
sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
she's so cute. Oh yeah. What are you gonna? I
There
mean,
you
these
go.
these animals, they just steal your heart, right?
Absolutely.
They, they're
100%.
they're in control. They take over the place. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
hard.
she has my whole heart. So, and those parrots as well. It's all
Yeah.
about the animals, honestly.
So you have birds, but you have cat. Like, how do they work it out? Are they okay?
Yeah, well, I have two parrots. But we keep them in a higher place near the ceiling, you know. And the cat, sometimes she's in the house, in the garage or outside, so she can't reach them. So yeah, they can live together, you know.
Okay, that's a good thing. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that. Hey, I mean, if
Actually,
those, we got to figure out how to live together, right? So we can learn from the
true.
animals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So I have a question. What was the last thing that you Googled, or what is the last thing that you Googled?
Probably some vintage tubes. Looking for vintage tubes which go inside the guitar amplifiers. So yeah,
Oh yeah,
looking for tubes.
Okay. And
cool.
what's your
Okay.
what's your favorite color?
Favorite color? Purple.
Purple. Nice. Nice. Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what's your
Um.
favorite food?
Oh, favorite food. It's either really like amazing Italian food, like very
Ah,
specifically amazing Italian food, or specifically amazing curry. One or the other.
right.
I find that like here in Los Angeles, there've been kind of a little bit of a pizza void for a while, but an Italian,
Mm-hmm.
like there were a couple of really great places, very expensive that are very good. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that the pizza game here has gotten a lot stronger in Los Angeles. It's very good now, actually. Indian food is
Wow.
good here, but like I mean, I have
Uh-huh.
never been to India, but if you spend time in the UK, you can find some pretty good Indian food in the UK. So, um,
True.
yeah. So, I would say those two cuisines would be my top of mind.
Nice.
Any favorite Indian dish you can name?
Gulab jamun. I don't know.
Whoa! Now my mouth is watering. Okay.
And gulab jamun is like these honey. It's a dessert, really. It's that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just had some yesterday.
Oh, you're a lucky man. I like it.
God. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. So, cool. You know what? I wanted to know something about your strings and string gauge. What gauge strings do you use? I know you're a Didado guy, but
Yeah.
what gauge strings do you use?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Yeah, D'Addario has been a partner for many years, and they make a excellent and consistent product, and they're the only strings that I use.
Right.
And the string gauges really range. Depends on the instrument. Some instruments feel really good with a little bit lighter gauge. Some instruments feel a
True.
little better with a little heavier gauge. So I tend to play the instrument, and then sort of see how it feels and then work from there. I mean, it's not like there'd be a drastic change, but I would use strings that
True.
anywhere from, like, say, for any guitar players, it would be like, say, an electric set of 10 through 54 up to
Right.
12 to 54, something in that range. It would just depend
Right.
how I'm feeling physically, which instrument it is, and some of that criteria. But that's the range.
Right. Because I saw your vibratos and string bends, and I thought that was the first thing that came to my mind because you do crazy bends, crazy string bends, and I don't know if your string action is high or you keep it low, but it's really amazing, and that's why I was very curious to know about your string gauge.
Yeah, thank you for asking. Yeah, and I think that I don't like the action too low. When it's too low, I have a hard time
Yeah.
And by action, we mean sort of how high the strings are off the board of the guitar, right? And that can really make a huge difference in the comfort of the guitar. Does the guitar have an enormous neck, right? If the guitar is like a baseball bat, and then you have your strings way off the neck, that could be challenging. Does the guitar have a very slim neck? Well, yeah, and maybe you want the strings a little higher on that neck. So, so there's a lot of things to consider, but I don't usually play them very low. I like them up a little bit. It's more comfortable to kind of get under the string in that way.
True. Fantastic. And would you like to give 5 or 3 or how many you want do's and don'ts for beginners in guitar learning?
Yeah, that's awesome. What's coming to mind for me, I don't know how many I would have, but I think what comes to mind
Whatever.
are a couple of like really key things, and we've touched on them during our conversation here. I think is to
Yes.
is to be yourself with it, like to have fun with it. Of course, like listen to your influences and then bring them in, and because that's fun, right? Like if we listen to Jimi Hendrix or Stevie Ray or
True.
Stevie Wonder, I mean, of course we want to be like them. They're the greats, So I think it's like incorporating that and then
Absolutely.
and then have fun with it. It doesn't need to necessarily be exactly the same, but put your life experience into it, and your feelings and what's important to you. And so I think really playing from a place of feeling and wonder and gratitude is really key, and the other piece is to not hurt yourself. If you're playing something, I mean, there's surface wounds, right? If you're playing guitar, you're going to maybe bleed, you're going to, because it's hard on your hands. That's one thing. But if you start getting to a place where, it's like, well, Stevie Ray Vaughan used the heavy strings, like 13s. I'm going to use that too.
Oh, yeah.
And then you start playing that and you start trying to play like Stevie or B.B. King and then you realize that like, oh, wait, I really am hurting myself inside, the tissues, the muscles, like you're hurting yourself in a way that's not good. So anytime something feels like it's hurting in that kind of way, you stop and you change it, so to listen to your body, I think, is really key.
Wow. Yes. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before I ask you my question, I will ask you if you could hang on for a while after we end the show, so we can, say goodbye and whatnot. So we know that, you have toured all over Europe, and I want to ask you, like, what is your favorite country in Europe, like your favorite venue, and also, have you ever been in the Balkan area?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't know if I have been to the Balkan area yet, and I would welcome the opportunity. Would love to.
Okay.
I hear it's very beautiful. Like near the water and things like that. Some of the beaches, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, it includes Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Serbia, and a lot of more countries. But yeah, near the beach. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that's really lovely, and of course being mindful that there's also been a lot of difficulty there in recent years. So wanting to be respectful and mindful of that, and so I would welcome the opportunity to experience that part of the world, and to learn more about it.
Yeah, that's very nice of you. Thank you.
Well, I would love to travel there, and it's hard to identify like one favorite place in Europe because there's so much and so many beautiful areas. I will say that the last time I was in Europe was in 2019, and we were in Spain. My wife and I went to Spain, and we loved it. Like, it was awesome. I mean, we were in Barcelona and just fell in love with it there. It was really magical. So while I appreciate all of the areas of Europe that I've been to, and even that crappy hotel in Croydon in London, but I think seriously, like, that time in Barcelona was amazing. So I'll say that for today. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
And Yeah, we also have a question from Anders again. So, have you ever been to Sweden?
Yeah, Anders. Yes, I have been to Sweden. I was there with Jeff Healey, and we played, I think, a couple of times. I know we played in Stockholm, and I'll never forget it because it was an outdoor, might have been a jazz festival there, and we were playing, and across the sky were all hot air balloons. It was just such a beautiful image, and yeah, I'll never forget it. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We have a question we missed. Okay.
Have you? Okay,
Kathy.
so Kathy is asking, have you been back to your hometown of Aberystwyth? Do you have any
All right.
relatives there, and do you speak any Welsh?
Well, I have to compliment you and congratulate you on pronouncing Aberystwyth. That was
Thank
amazing.
you.
Thank
you.
Yeah, it's quite a tongue twister, that one.
Yeah.
I haven't. My family left when I was little, and we immigrated to Canada. So I haven't. I think I've driven through part of Wales in the middle of the night once on a tour, but I don't. Yeah, I haven't spent any time there. And in terms of relatives, there must be a couple relatives around there, and I think there are some. I know in parts of the UK, definitely there are. Not necessarily in Wales only, but I have a lot of family over in the UK, and I do not speak Welsh other than saying Aberystwyth.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't.
Awesome.
Kind of. If you have any more questions, go ahead.
I have one last question though. If you have any other question, you can go ahead, or I'll ask my question.
Well, Philip, if you can give any advice to your fans or the people in the audience, what would that be?
Yeah,
That
the
was
first
my
thing that
question.
I know.
wonderful. Well, we're all on the same page here. I love it. So, really, what comes to mind is to at this time, yeah, I mean, we're in different parts of the world, and there's a global pandemic that's connecting us all, right? So it's a strange time, I think, and we're at different levels of it, right? In some places it's really bad, other places it's like nothing's happening, so it's so confusing. But I think that really is to practice compassion, and it's something that that is outward and inward. So it's practicing self-compassion, so kindness.
True.
That this is a difficult time. And I don't speak for anybody else, but really just like I'm trying to figure this out the best that I can, one day at a time, as opposed to freaking out and getting down on myself. We're practicing that compassion, and I think also learning how to have compassion for others who are also trying to make sense of what's happening in the world right now. And so perhaps maybe acting in ways that, from my perspective, seem really weird and erratic and unsafe. And likely in return, they're looking at me going, well, that's weird. I wouldn't do that either. So it's like how to find a place of compassion for others, but also compassion for self.
Thank you for the amazing advice. That was amazing.
Right.
So
Right.
that was our last question, and I really want to thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us. It has been a great honor to talk to you and to listen to you share so many amazing stories and advice and whatnot. So thank you so much.
Thank you. The feeling is mutual. Thank you both. This was I really enjoyed the conversation. Very uplifting and inspiring. Thank you both.
Yeah, and what we always
Thank you
say
so
to our
much.
guests, to our guests to come on, you are welcome on the show anytime. This is your show now, so whenever you're
Anytime.
feeling like I want to talk, just come on here and you'll be able to. So there.
You are
There we go.
welcome anytime. Yes.
Thank you very much.
And for everyone watching, listening, do go and listen to Philip Sayce's Spirit Rising album on any of your favorite music streaming platform. And always remember what Philip says. Follow your feeling, believing your power follow your feeling, it's feeding your power. So there you go. And on that high note, we'd like to say ciao for now. Oh, wait, but before that, these
Yeah.
are Philip's socials. Do go follow Philip on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and of course, for more information and his upcoming albums and whatnot, do visit philipsayce.com and you'll find everything over there. So take note. And
Thank
Yeah.
you.
thank you once again, Philip. Thank you so much. Please hang on for a while as we play the outro. And for the audience, thank you so much and see you next time. Ciao for
Ciao for now.
now.
Thank you.